Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. 11 huge Hollyoaks spoilers for next week. Next week on Hollyoaks, Goldie is feeling dubious about Carter, who continues to act suspiciously. Meanwhile, Dilly makes a huge confession, and Hunter has some life-changing decisions to make. Here's a full collection of the biggest moments coming up. It's Goldie's first day in her new job. However, she still sees it as a mission to take down Carter, leaving Sally concerned. Hunter finds a letter from Freya declaring her love for him. Hearing that journalists are coming into the school to report on the new head teacher, Hunter confides in Carter about his concerns over not being able to do his job with what has recently gone on. Hunter's family try to persuade him not to give up his career, but with it now being public knowledge that Freya tried to kiss him, he's unsure that he's able to continue as a teacher. Sienna is determined not to give up on her plan with Rafe, but Ethan seems to be having doubts. Rafe tries to get Dilly to face her responsibilities, but Dilly encourages Rafe to find Sienna and beg for her forgiveness so he's not alone, as she wants nothing to do with it all. Over at Rafe's, Sienna demands to know why he keeps pushing her away as they both like each other. But Rafe tells her he knows she's only after his money and offers her a check for £50,000 in return for leaving him alone. Sienna screws it up and walks out. Ethan pleads with Sienna to end their scheme, but when she refuses, he questions if it's about the money or Rafe. In return, she quizzes him about his feelings for Dilly. Realizing the romance has fizzled out, Cindy offers to help Misbah by arranging a dinner at the Hollyoaks. Unfortunately, things don't go to plan when an awkward Zane storms off, not wanting to talk about their sex life. When they're finally alone, Misbah and Zane open up to each other and reconnect, igniting the spark again. Ethan finds a drunk Dilly at the loft, where she makes a shocking confession. With it all becoming much for him, Ethan begs Sienna to put an end to the scheme after this, but when she refuses, he gives her an ultimatum. It's him or Ref. Hurting after his and Sienna's latest breakup, Ethan turns to Dilly and things get steamy between them in the loft. Knowing Ethan's split from Sienna is still fresh, Dilly is left feeling awkward after their encounter and decides to leave Ethan and his feelings alone. John Paul is still on edge following a brutal homophobic attack on him. Carter approaches him and brings up Finn O'Connor and the trauma that John Paul has endured, offering him help. In order to help John Paul, Carter encourages him to face his demons by returning to the loft. John Paul gets chatting to a guy named Billy, but once left alone with the stranger, Carter tells him to leave John Paul alone. When John Paul walks in on Carter and Billy's altercation, John Paul tells Billy to leave. Once alone, Carter tells John Paul he deserves someone better. Scott tells the McQueens that he has been practicing a new drag act that he'll perform later at the dog's bingo night. During the bingo night, John Paul begins to have flashbacks from the attack and rushes out. Rafe asks Sienna to allow him to help get the twins into a good school. Sienna gets Stay to pretend to be Warren to help her secure a bursary for a prestigious school by promoting a strong family unit, but things don't go to plan when James turns up. Just when Sienna is feeling like she has ruined the twins' chances, Rafe arrives at her front door with the teacher. He tells her that the school would like to offer Sophie and Sebastian places, and the fees will be covered by the Harcourt Trust. Charlie tells Darren he's not in the place he was a few months ago and is receiving the help he needs. When Tony looks for cover for the dog, Jack puts Darren forward for shifts, but he's not sure he's ready to leave Charlie after recent events. Darren finds himself struggling to cope with everything that has happened and rushes off to check on Charlie, leaving Tony in the lurch. Hunter opens up to Zoe about how he feels his previous relationship with Nita was all a lie. Zoe wants to help and surprises Hunter with paint to cover the mural he once drew. But how will this go down? An agitated stranger comes looking for Carter, asking for his help. When Goldie and Mercedes spot Carter and the stranger talking, Goldie hears John Paul's name. Goldie is left convinced that Carter is attracted to John Paul.